fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Start your day with Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal. The instant oatmeal ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings. Like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team. Go girls! And carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein Instant Oatmeal, granola, and bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just
speaking into the void?
But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby-Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
Hey there, Duke fans. DBR Bites episode 153. Donald here, Jason here. We're coming to you on Wednesday night. It's about 9:25 p.m. We did not think we were going to get on here tonight, but some news just came down in the last 10 minutes that we want to discuss. We'll also talk a little bit about the status of Pat Ngongba for tomorrow. But Jason, why we are here is the news that just came down a few minutes ago. Jeff Borzello of ESPN, I saw first with this news. Evan Bradds, the assistant coach for Duke men's basketball, has agreed or is finalizing a deal to become the next coach at Belmont. Now, Belmont is a place that he played ball. He was one of their best players in Belmont history. He graduated in 2017 as the all-time leading scorer in the program's history in Division I and moved on into coaching immediately. And obviously, we've talked about his track throughout the pro level to get to Duke. So, Jason, very first of all, hello, good evening. We didn't think we were going to talk to each other tonight, but give me your initial thoughts, obviously very raw thoughts about Evan Bradds accepting the job at Belmont.
Well, the most important thing from the standpoint of the 2025-2026 Duke Blue Devils, who are about to embark on the NCAA tournament, is that every reporting that we are seeing, everything we are hearing, is that Evan Bradds will stay with Duke throughout the duration of the NCAA tournament. This is not a situation like Jay Lucas last year, where Jay had to move on to Miami, almost functionally immediately. So in terms of this season, in terms of what Evan Bradds has meant to the staff, in terms of his continued contributions, nothing changes. And that's a really good thing for Duke. I mean, and I think it'd be easy for us to sort of go, oh, he was only here for 1 year. John will find someone else to replace him in the offseason. No big deal. I think that sells Evan Bradds a little bit short. The reason that Evan Bradds was brought in was because Jon Scheyer had heard from a number of people in the NBA. Jon is close to a number of younger NBA coaches, especially Will Hardy at Utah. I know he knows Brad Stevens. There are a number of guys in the NBA that Jon knows really well, and all of them were saying that Evan Brad's was a genius. People were all like, "This dude really knows how to coach." And Brad's was on Will Hardy's Utah staff prior to coming to Duke. So I think what we've seen, what we've heard, from behind the scenes and things like that, is that Evan Brad's absolutely, as a Duke assistant coach, lived up to the billing of being a really, really bright guy, great at player development. I mean, one of the things people talk about with this Duke team is how much every single guy on the roster is better today than he was in November. And think about all the holdovers, the guys who were with us a year ago, better at the start of November than they were at the end of last season. Now, of course, everybody progresses and grows and things like that, but it's been pretty striking at Duke. And I think Evan Brad's is a lot of that because he's a player development genius. And then the other thing is he's an offensive genius. Everyone says that. This is a guy who really preaches the value of spacing on offense, of moving the ball around, of getting guys into smart positions and smart spots and having them take efficient shots. Evan Brad's understands that aspect of basketball, and he has brought that. I'm not saying Jon Scheyer didn't already know those things, but Evan Brad's is someone who can reinforce that and bring it even more, so to speak. So, yeah, dude was only here for a year. That sucks because I think he would have been a great assistant coach if he'd stuck around. And I'm sure Jon Scheyer is probably experiencing very mixed emotions. Thrilled. And we should all be thrilled. One of our assistants, the same way, Donald, if I can, the same way we're excited when a Dookie goes high in the NBA draft. When, when a guy, even if it's just a one and done, you're like, we've succeeded at getting this guy to the next level. And he'll always, carry a little piece of us with him, and we will always be connected to him because of his time here on campus. Frankly, same thing is true of the coaching staff. Evan Brad's is going to the next level. He's a one and done coach. Isn't a very common thing, but we should be happy for him. And at the same time, be a little bit sad that we didn't get more with him.
I mean, look, it's 4 years for Jon Scheyer, and he's already building himself a little bit of a coaching tree here.
A little bit. So, he's got two guys.
And that's not counting all the guys who have gone to the NBA, like J-Rob and all those guys, right? So he's starting to build himself a little tree here, and I think we should first talk about the fact that I will reemphasize the fact that he will be with this team during the NCAA tournament. He is not leaving, so that part I think we all agree is a good thing. Let's talk about very quickly how he got here, because people are like, well, Belmont, weren't they pretty decent? Yeah, they were. And they weren't a team that was going to make the NCAA tournament, but they were in line to be accepted to the NIT. Then their coach got hired by Kansas State, Casey Alexander, so he left. That's what created this opening. Belmont then said, because of our coach going to Kansas State, we're going to forego any bids to postseason play. Namely, again, the NIT was where they were probably headed, and their search started immediately. But again, this is not a situation where they're looking to get people in the portal and things like that, where a guy would need to be in place immediately. He's also one of their own. And I think for one of their own, they're easily more equipped to say, Evan, go do your thing in the NCAA tournament. When you're done, come on home and we're ready for you. So I think they gave him some grace. I'm sure that was part of the deal with signing this or agreeing to this deal. But yeah, it's a great thing for Evan Brad's. It's actually a great thing for Duke in a way that he gets to spread his wings and fly. You want your assistant coaches to one day become coaches. That's how Jon Scheyer is a coach now. So I think we wish him well. Obviously, we don't have to do that, hopefully, for a few more weeks. Hopefully he's in Duke Blue through the first Monday in April. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him thrive at Belmont. I think that's a good situation for him to be back in his alma mater.
Well, and going to Belmont, he's going to a pretty good program. This is so. Here's how many games Belmont has won. I mean, God, wait, hold on. I'm looking at their record. They've won 20 games. Goodness gracious me. Every year since 2010. Mm-hmm. This is a program that consistently wins 20 plus games. They won 26 this year, 22, blah, blah. I can go on and on. If you look at their record over the years, this Belmont club is a club that is a pretty darn good mid-major, one of the mid-majors that you would aspire to. And
they've been on the bubble as an at-large.
Yeah.
In previous years, right? Like, not like, oh, they're a team that should get in the tournament. Like a team that was so good that when they lost in their conference tournament, people were like, no, they're a serious, we need to consider bringing them in as a bubble team because they're that good, right? This is a team that people have heard of. This is a team that's consistently making the NCAA tournament. And again, this position is only open because their coach did so well that K-State said, we need you. So there you go.
Yeah, and Missouri Valley is one of the better of the mid-major conferences. It's like, the Missouri Valley's up there with the Atlantic 10, Mountain West, West Coast Conference, American Athletic Conference, Big West. It's right in that realm of fairly good mid-major conferences. Look, I don't know how many guys Evan Bradds is going to be able to retain at Belmont. Who knows what happens in the portal? The way rosters are nowadays, it's all chaos. But you have to feel like a guy with his reputation and a guy with his skill that he's going to, we're going to be hearing about Evan Bradds in the future. I am certain of it. And like I say, we wish him really well. And I'm really glad that he is sticking with the program for the next couple of weeks. And now we get a little bit extra intrigue in the offseason. Who will Jon Scheyer elevate, or who will Jon Scheyer hire, or who knows what it may be. A lot of different options on the table, a lot of former alumni, a lot of, obviously Jon has gone into the NBA ranks and other places like that. Ton of options, and there's nobody. You call just about anybody and you say, would you like to come coach at Duke? They're going to be like, yes, please.
Let's have a conversation. Yeah. So again, I'm sure that wasn't part of the to-do list for Jon Scheyer after the season, but it's still, once again, as part of the to-do list, and I'm sure he will have a home run hire just like he did here with Evan Bradds. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to talk about the status of Pat Ngongba and talk about his status for tomorrow's game against Siena. DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, is built for March. The tournament is unexpected. Rewards are guaranteed. DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering the most generous rewards on the market.
Yeah, with DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook for live betting, you're not betting on what might happen. You're betting on what's happening right now. Are you new to DraftKings? Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DukeBB. That's code DukeBB to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
This episode is brought to you by Beneful. Dogs of the world, lend me your ears, snoots, and little toe beans. We've been sitting and staying for boring food for too long. It's time to demand high-quality ingredients, fresh from the pantry. Together with Beneful freshly prepared meals, we can start a mealtime revolution. Can I get a woof woof? Kick boring in the bowl with Beneful freshly prepared meals. Visit Purina.com/Beneful to shop now.
All right, we are back. We shift our attention to the game that is ahead of us, which is, as we speak, on Wednesday night, just less than 18 hours away against the Siena Saints in the first round of the NCAA Tournament. Of course, the team is down in Greenville, and today they had their press availability for all of the teams that are playing in Greenville. And, of course, they had players. They had Cam Boozer, they had Dame Sarr, they had Isaiah Evans, and then they had a press availability with Jon Scheyer. And, of course, the very first question was about the status of Pat Ngongba. Jason, you and I were on that press conference, and
Yes.
the quote, very unlikely, was the quote from Jon Scheyer about Pat Ngongba's status. Very unlikely that he will play in this first round game. Jason, how does that maybe change your feelings about not just, not necessarily Duke's chances, because I think we obviously have a great chance of winning without him. We've done that in the past week, but maybe your injury worry about Pat Ngongba.
Yeah, I will freely say that when Pat missed the ACC tournament, I sort of thought, oh, that's no problem. He'll just be back for the NCAAs, because we'd heard he was so close. I mean, literally in the afternoon of the Carolina game, the expectation was that he was going to play. It wasn't until he warmed up that they went, oh no, wait. So you'd sort of think, oh, that's 2 weeks ago at this point. Of course he'd be better by now. Well, to hear that he might miss an NCAA tournament game. It's one thing to miss the ACC tournament. To miss an NCAA tournament game, yeah, it's a 1 versus 16. Duke's still going to be a 20-plus point favorite in this game, a prohibitive favorite to win this contest, regardless of whether Patrick Ngongba plays. But when you hear that he's missing, and you hear sort of, Jon Scheyer even, kind of said, he didn't say he'll be ready to go on Saturday. He was
right, somewhat,
circumspect, skeptical, I guess you might even say, about Saturday round of 32 game as well. You start to worry a little bit. Do I think that Duke absolutely needs Patrick Ngongba to go deep in the NCAA tournament? There's scenarios where we could do it anyway, but it's a hell of a lot easier if we have him.
To have one of the best players in college basketball.
Yeah. So I'm worried. I guess I'm probably a little more worried than I was a few days ago. To hear that Pat is missing this game. By all accounts, it seems like he will not play against Siena. And then we'll see. It feels to me a little bit like this is something they haven't been very specific about what's wrong with. Like they said
foot soreness.
Right, they said foot soreness, but they said Cephas had a broken bone, had a fracture, and had surgery. We've gotten much less specifics about Big Pat, so it sort of makes you wonder: is it a little bit of a, I don't want to say mystery, but are they somewhat confused about it, and is that part of what's causing a lot of uncertainty about his timetable as well? I don't know. Donald, you and I sometimes talk like we have sources and stuff like that. We have some sources. We have people who know little things. Everyone I've spoken to says, I don't know. That's all I've gotten about Big Pat.
And here's the thing. When it happened, when he missed just after the UNC game, we talked about the press availability that the team that Duke called for Jon Scheyer. So basically he could address these two injuries of Pat Ngongba and Caleb Foster. And he mentioned that it wasn't an acute moment. It wasn't like he stepped on something wrong and there was a pinpoint moment that they can say, this is where his foot started hurting. It just kind of gradually built up to the point where it was bothering him between the NC State game and the UNC game. And even then, and on Tuesday, or the Tuesday before the NCAA tournament, the ACC tournament, he mentioned that it wasn't something that was a timetable. It wasn't like, hey, in 6 days he will be okay. And that's where my mind, and again, my mind sometimes is different than others. That's where my mind kind of shifted to, it's a rolling clock here. The human body is a fickle thing. I woke up with back pain today. I didn't have it yesterday. Nothing happened between yesterday and today. My back just decided to hurt. Human bodies are weird like that. And it's even weirder for a guy who is nearly 7 feet tall and 250 pounds and is used to being on his feet every day playing a game to the maximum of his ability. I think that is probably something where, and even the soreness leads me to believe that, as you mentioned, that game against UNC, he warmed up. He was in uniform.
Yeah.
And during warmups, they said, stay in warmups, but like if it's not feeling better, then we're good. And at halftime, they said it felt a little bit worse, maybe because he was sitting instead of not being active on it. And they decided to pull him, and they decided to rest him. So I'm wondering if it's just a everyday, it's a, hey, how do you feel today type of injury. That's something that rest is going to be what heals it eventually. But in this game of, okay, we maybe have games every couple of days. It's, hey, if your foot's not good to go today, all right, we're just going to hold you out because it's better to go with our guys that are healthy 100% than to try to force him back and make things worse, or he's not able to be effective because he still has some lingering pain. So I think this is kind of, my brain is just kind of settled into the take it day by day. We wake up tomorrow and say, again, he didn't even say he was out. He said it was highly unlikely, but like, there's probably someone out there with a glimmer of hope that he could wake up tomorrow and everything's going to be just fine. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen in the next couple of days. It's just going to be a question of whether the pain is easy enough for him to manage and play basketball at a high level, right? That's the only thing that's holding him back. He's still in the boot. It doesn't seem like he's practiced. So there's a point here where you got to just say in your mind, I know what the reality looks like. And again, it's just a question of whether the body kind of matches your reality. So Jason, last word to you.
I mean, I don't have anything else to add about this. It would be super, super unfortunate if we end up feeling like Duke is robbed of a chance to achieve all the things they could achieve because of injury. But on the other hand, that's college basketball. Talk to Texas Tech, talk to UNC, talk to a dozen other teams both in the tournament and teams who didn't make it, who are dealing with a major significant player who is unable to perform. The guys who can perform, those are the guys who have to pick up the slack, figure out a way to keep on going, and we'll just be rooting for them as hard as we can. I got nothing other than that, man.
I mean, look, that's the long and short of it, right? Like, we love Pat, we love Caleb, we hope they're back on the court as soon as possible. But we love the other guys that are going to be out there tomorrow. We're rooting for them, and we know that they're ready. So I don't feel any pain in saying that, hey, if Pat doesn't play tomorrow in the short term, I'm okay with that because I have confidence in those guys that are going to take the floor, that they will pick up and do all the things that Pat and Caleb would be doing if they were on the floor right there with them. And they're going to be there. They're in Greenville. They're going to be there lending their support, their leadership. And yeah, I'm still looking forward to tomorrow. It's just going to be a waiting game as to the when-if question about Pat Ngongba's status for anything beyond tomorrow. But let's get past tomorrow first. We'll end it here. We're going to get some rest. Everyone, get some rest because tomorrow the NCAA tournament starts. It's the greatest day of the year, and Duke will be playing on the greatest day of the year, 2:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Jason and I will be back in the evening at some point to recap everything. So until then, here's the Duke Band to play us out and take us home.